Right, I'm just doing a quick chat about buy-to-let, the new rules that Labour's bringing in. Would I recommend doing buy-to-let, and some scenarios which might help you. Um, what I'm going to say is, as well, is this is not financial advice. The main thing is, you have to know your own mind. I know I used to work with somebody and he was a bit of a retard. And when I was saying to him what I was doing, whether I was buying a house or buying shares or whatever, he used to say to me, "Who's told you to do that? Who's told you to do that?" And I used to go, "It's in here, trousers, it's in here." Do you know what I mean? So you need to know your own mind. So this is not financial advice. Right, so this morning I've watched Blue Van Man. And I believe Blue Van Man has got a bungalow that he's renting. And if you could go on YouTube and have a look, he's basically telling Angela Rayner to F off and saying how mental she is and all this sort of thing. And then I think is it Jake Nicholson, Property Accelerator. And I don't know if you're a landlord, if anybody's watched his videos, it's just absolutely bonkers. He's like, one day he's going, house prices are up. Oh, house prices are going up. And then the next day, house prices are going down. House prices are going down. Interest rates are going up, going up, going up. No, they're going down, they're going down. He's like that. He's absolutely mental. So what I wanted to talk about was, like Labour policies. So I'm a landlord. I hope to think that I know what I'm talking about. I've got 4 houses that I let out, and I've been a landlord for about 16 years, right? Now, people sort of moaning about the Labour policies, and the main issue seems to be the Section 21, which is like getting your tenants out for a no-fault eviction. And what I think is, people are going bonkers about this and going, well, we haven't got the Section 21, I'm going to sell my house, blah blah blah, all this sort of thing. And to be honest, how many times have people used the Section 21? I know I've only used it once, so whatever, having 4 houses for 16 years. One time I've used the Section 21, and what it was. I had a house, a 3-bed detached, which needed work basically. So I think the rent was $7.50 a month. That's what it was renting for. But it was rented through Belvoir. I don't know if anybody's used Belvoir, but they're not a very good letting company, and they're very expensive. So they were taking off me $150 a month. So I was only getting 600 for this house, and I sort of knew it needed work. And we sort of got to the point where I tried to put the rent up in the past, and then the tenants were kicking off and going, we're not, oh, you can't do that. You have to, you can't put the rent up, or all this sort of thing. So basically, what I thought, right, I issued a Section 21. I did work on the house. I spent about £4,500 on a new bathroom, and I decorated. And then I put the property up for sale, and I think I had the property up for about 6 months, couldn't sell it. And then I thought, right, okay, fair enough, I'll rent it again. And then I put it back on the market for £995, and I used a different letting agent, and they were taking about 90 quid. So then I was getting 905 quid as opposed to 600 quid that I was getting before, right? So I thought, fair enough, that's worked. So what I think is people getting excited about the Section 21. If you need to sell the property, you can still give them, I don't know what it is now. I think it's 3 months notice or something like that, or 4 months notice. But you can still get them out. You can still sell your house if you have to. So I think getting excited about the Section 21 is just a waste of time. Do you know what I mean? The second thing is the energy performance certificates. What they're saying is, I think by 2030, they're going to bring that in, and then the house will have to be a C, right? Now, the first thing is Labour won't be in power by 2030. Labour are only going to get one term. They're probably the most hated government we've had in recent times. They're not going to get re-elected. They won't be in. So it doesn't matter what they say. If they say, "Oh, we're doing something in 2030," it won't happen. So chill out. Don't worry about it. I've recently had a property which was a D, and I had to have a guy in. This is the property that I've said about when I put it up for sale because I needed an energy certificate, and it was a D previously. He came in. I think I paid him 60 quid. He looked at the radiators, looked at the boiler, blah blah blah, and he said, "You know what? We can just slot you in to a C." So he put it up a band. It was a C. So what I'm saying is, with the Labour policies coming in, that would have that would have sorted it. And what he said to me was, he said, to be honest, to get your property up from a D to a B, to get it up 2 steps doesn't take a lot of work. You may be looking at separate thermostatic valves on the radiators and some insulation in the loft, and pretty much you're there. Do you know what I mean? That's going to get you 2 steps. So again, I wouldn't worry about the EPC certificate. Blue Van Man, he's wittering on about heat pumps, saying the government's going to force you to have a heat pump. Again, I can't. It's just not going to happen, is it? It's just not going to happen. And if there was big changes like that, I think he's going, a heat pump 16 grand. And somebody in the comments has put, a heat pump is 7.5 grand. But let's be honest, right? If it did come to that, the government would be turning around and going, you can have a grant for 5 grand if you fit a heat pump. Now that's what will go on. There'll be grants available, right? So just to sum up, with Labour policies, I'm not overly worried about Labour policies. I think if you're a landlord, don't make a rush decision and go, I'm going to put my property up for sale, I'm going to sell my property, I'm going to get out of the market just because of this Labour government. This Labour government has probably got 4.5 years to go, and then they will be no more. We might have Nigel Farage, which would probably get you a better deal for landlords. So yeah, I just think you've just got to weather the storm, chill out, don't worry about it. Now, recently I was talking to somebody. I went round somebody's house to buy a guitar off somebody, and we were talking, and they said, what do you do? I said, I'm a landlord. And this woman, God, I think she must have been, she must have been 65. Say she was 65, and she was going, I've been left some money, and I'm thinking about doing buy to let, would you recommend it? And I said, how old are you? Blah, 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 65. And I said to the guy, what about you? Where are you working? What are you doing? And he was earning about 70 grand a year. He said, financially they were sound. They don't need the money. I was just like, why worry? Why are you doing buy to let? It's the same thing when you watch Place in the Sun. I don't know if anybody's watched Place in the Sun, but you'll see some old dear who's in the 70s going, I'm going to buy a house in Spain for 200 grand. And you look at them and you think, you've only got about 2 years left in you. Why are you bothering? What is the point of lobbing all that cash out when you can just go and rent a house? Waste of time. And it's the same thing with the buy-to-let. I think if you're going to do buy-to-let, and bear in mind, this is not financial advice, this is just my general thoughts on it. You've got to be of an age where you think to yourself you're going to get some capital growth on your property. So what I'm saying, if you're 40 and you think to yourself, right, I'd like to retire at 60, and you've got a spare 50 grand or you've got a spare 100 grand laying about, then maybe doing buy to let isn't a bad plan, because you'll sink that into a property. And potentially, you could double your money, or maybe even triple your money if you bought the right sort of property. So that's what I think. It's all about how old you are and what you're trying to do. Bear in mind, these property, if you're doing buy to let, it's capital appreciation where you're going to make your money, right? Now, if I was to go out and buy a house now, what I would buy would be a modern three-story terraced house. That's what I would buy, or a semi-detached. We were talking about these things. House on newish, not new, but maybe something that's like 10, 15 years old, 3 stories. You want three decent bedrooms. And I know in my local area, you'd want to bargain. You would try and be buying a house off a distressed landlord or something like that. You want to be paying about 200 grand, I reckon. For a sort of a smart looking 3 beds. And then you need to achieve a rental of about 1,000 a month. That's what you want, 1,000 a month. Um, if you were to sink 100 grand into that house, right, and borrow up, so hang on, well, we got the figures wrong here, haven't we? So what I'm saying, you need to put down a 25% deposit. So you need to put down 50 grand. So if you're buying 200 grand a house, you need to put down 50 grand. I think if it was me, I would try and put down a bit more than that. I'd probably try and put down, 200 grand a house. I'd probably try and put 100 grand into it, right? And then 100 grand on the mortgage. So at the minute, 100 grand on a mortgage with the interest rates, I reckon you get about 3.84, something like that, 3.84% on an interest only. I think you're talking about a payment of about 370 quid a month. That's what you're looking at on your mortgage, about 370 for your mortgage. And then so obviously if you're renting, if you can achieve 1,000 for the property, the letting agent's going to take 100 quid, so you're going to get 900 less your 380. You're talking 400. You're talking 500 quid, aren't you? 520, something like that. 520, something like that a month. Which to me doesn't seem too bad. If you're making 520 on a house, I know you've got to pay tax on it. But that's where I would be with it. If I was just doing one, I'd think to myself, right, 100 grand down, 200 grand a house. What I'm saying is, you bought the right sort of house, kept it in good nick. I would hope that in 10 years' time, it's worth 300 grand. Maybe 20 years' time, it's worth 400 grand. And what I'm saying, at that time, you've got a house, 400 grand, you owe 100 grand on it, you've got 300 grand. You've got to be a bit careful. Obviously with there's talk of the capital gains tax going up, so you might have to sort of go pretend that you're living in the property. If you moved into it for a year, said that you and the missus were having marital problems, and you moved in it for a year, and then sold it, you would do it capital gains tax free, and you'd make 300 grand, and that hopefully would set you up well for early retirement if you've already got a pension. Yeah. So that's all I'm doing. That's just my quick, quick sort of chat about buy to let. Bear in mind as well, all these people. I'm doing this out of the goodness of my heart. That's all I'm doing. If somebody emails me and says, "Oh, can you source a property?" I'd just say, "No, I'm not interested." Do you know what I mean? Everybody who's on there, everybody who's doing the videos on YouTube, these property experts, that they either want you to join a course. There's a progressive property in Peterborough. They want about 20 grand for a course. There's Samuel Leeds. He wants about 12 grand. Everybody wants you to pay for that. Jake Nicholson or whatever, he wants you to do one of these property courses. That's all everybody's on with. They just want you to sort of like do a course for something that's just like common sense. If you're not an idiot, then you should be able to just do it yourself. Do you know what I mean? But that's all I'm doing for now. I hope that helps. So that's just my quick thoughts on buy to let. Okay, cheers, bye.